Step right up, dummies, and listen to the stupidest sports show on earth with Rodney Newpol and Tim Van Stratton. Yeah.
Well, hello, dummies, and welcome to episode number 152 of the stupidest sports show on earth. My name, as you all know, is Tim Der Kaiser Van Stratton with Rodney Newpol. And we're back. We were inexplicably off for over a week, an unplanned break for the show, but we have returned. Is your head okay? You got an itch there? Or what's going on?
Yeah, no, I was just preparing. But anyways, yes. So no power for me last Thursday.
Mm-hmm. For how long? For how long officially? Because I remember living there and we would have power outages after storms, but I don't think I had power out any longer than a day. However, had it out for how long?
It was 46 hours. It went from roughly 6 o'clock on Thursday to roughly 4 o'clock on Saturday. Now, I will explain that when I checked in with Ameren, our specific outage, it affected 38 people. So our outage was probably one of the last that they were going to get to and restore. And I mean, I get that. Do I love it? No. Was I patient? Not really. But when there's only 38 people affected by it, you get last. I mean, to the victors go the spoils. Bigger power grids, get the power first. But then, I apologize for missing Tuesday. It was either that or a hotel show, and it just wasn't worth it. So we're back. We're back tonight, and thanks, listeners, for staying patient with us.
Yes, we have returned. Glad that your house has power. Sorry that you had to get rid of everything in your fridge as a result.
Yeah.
But it's part of the storm life. But happy with that. We're back, and obviously lots to get to. If you're joining us on YouTube, if you're joining us on Twitter, we appreciate it. We do want to start off the show the same way that we have for the last few weeks. We do have a consistent countdown. 83 days until the NFL season. I believe that's right. Since we last did the show, I can't wait. We're pretty much at the point now where it's the only NFL news is going to be free agents, the remaining veterans like Stephon Diggs and Deebo Samuel, those types, where they're going to go. Because a few weeks ago I put together a full team of all of the players still available, and many of them are still. So we're going to have that. We're going to have maybe. I mean, I'm sure some roster cuts, but probably closer to training camp, maybe some extensions, restructures. Love the contract restructures. But then at that point, it's just let's just put on the pads, play some football. But we're very close. And then also, I just wanted to say real quick as well, shout out to Gateway Sports, as always, for everything that they've done for us and amplifying our show and our voice and making us seem a lot more important than we are. So appreciate it.
Yeah, no, shout out to them. And so not spring training, but training camp, we're about 4 to 5 weeks away. So we'll start seeing those things come across. And I know it's not your favorite, but college football will be starting soon as well. And so we'll be getting that news and being able to talk that. And that'll keep us plenty busy now that both the NBA and the NHL are over. And I'm sure we'll spend time talking about both those today.
You are an astute observer, because we are going to talk NBA and NHL, and we didn't get a chance to mention it on Tuesday. And, we're not going to break down the game too much because it's been many days. We all know what happened, but holy crap, the Knicks did it. Really, at any point this season, did you think realistically the New York Knicks would be world champions?
No, I'll admit no would be the answer. Did I think they would be one of the better teams in the NBA? Yeah. Not the top. But I mean, they pretty much solidified it. They were pretty dominant, really dominant actually. And I mean, if you look at that roster, it's a good roster. So I mean, I guess you can't be too surprised, but no, I was not buying in that the Knicks were going to win an NBA championship. No.
Yeah, well, the whole season, myself and many others, it was basically like champions coming out of the West. The East is weak because really, like we remember in the Eastern Conference this year, the conversation was about the Pistons and about the Celtics.
Yeah.
And the Knicks were in that second tier, like closer to where Cleveland was, as far as being a realistic NBA championship contender. But all the conversation was in the West, where it was like, okay, OKC obviously is the huge favorite. San Antonio is right there. Then you have Denver, Minnesota,
right.
And it just seemed like the champions were going to come out of the West. We had OKC against San Antonio in the conference finals, and it was, okay, well, the winner of this is going to win it all. Like, this is the NBA championship right here. But it really wasn't until we got to the NBA finals where after the Spurs had upset the Thunder, but like the Knicks and their total dominance in the Eastern Conference, like it wasn't until the finals started where I finally was like, I think the Knicks can do it. I took them to win in 6 games. Like, but that was the first point that I had ever realistically said, like, the Knicks could win a championship.
Right.
Like, it took that long for them to get to the finals. And then at that point, if they played OKC, I would have picked OKC, and I'm pretty sure OKC beats them. But because if you look at this series, it's one of the strangest NBA finals in the history of the sport, where they played 5 games. First of all, the Knicks were down by double figures at the end of the first quarter in all of them.
Right.
3 of the largest comebacks, 3 of the 5 largest comebacks in NBA Finals history were all in this series.
That's impressive.
3 of the 5 largest comebacks in the history of the NBA Finals were all from this series.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
And you look and you say, okay, well, it's the comeback. It's the fact that the Spurs lead for like 78% of the entire series, something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
But yet it's the Knicks in 5. Like it was so many things that like went into the Knicks. Like everything is perfectly aligned for them. It was the fact that they got San Antonio. It was the fact that San Antonio was so young and inexperienced, and like the age difference, I think, was the biggest factor of all, because of the way San Antonio wilted at the end of all of these games compared to the Knicks, a veteran team, being able to improve as the game went on as opposed to falling back. But it's like all of these factors went into the Knicks winning a championship. And it's like the stars perfectly align it. It's not something that's like, oh, okay, well, the Knicks prove that they're going to be a dynasty for the next 10 years. No, not at all. I don't think anyone thinks that.
No, definitely not. I mean, are they going to be good? Yeah. I mean, Jalen Brunson's still going to be there, and they're going to have players. But yeah, like I'm not picking them to repeat. No way.
Yeah. Yeah. They're just what
do they call it in hockey? Puck luck. They had the basketball the hockey version of puck luck.
Yeah. But it's like, it was such a bizarre series. When we're going to look back at this someday, and we're going to go and we're going to be like, okay, the Spurs led how many minutes? They had how many leads? Like game 5. If I would have told you, Rodney, the Knicks are on the road. Karl Anthony Towns is going to have 2 points in 23 minutes and foul out of the game. Yeah. They're going to shoot 32% from 3 and 36% from the field. They're not going to get any more than 14 points from any player on their roster other than Jalen Brunson. What would you have guessed the score would be if I told you that? You probably would have said the Spurs win by 20 points.
Yeah, I was going to say down to 18. Yeah, so they would. Yeah.
Yeah. Webby had a 19-14, and then you had Dylan Harper at 25 off the bench. Like I would have said, oh yeah, by the way, those things as well.
Right. Yeah, no, it defies logic how they did it, but they just kept finding ways.
And it defies logic the same way that it's the same team that 4 years ago gave Jalen Brunson a large free agent contract that at the time was universally criticized because like Jalen Brunson at that time was like just sort of the second guard on a team that was dominated by Luka Doncic.
Right.
And they're like, Jalen Brunson, that tiny guy. And then a year ago, the talk with the Knicks at this exact time, it was, wow, they fired Tom Thibodeau. They can't find a coach. Everyone keeps turning them down, and then they have to settle on Mike Brown.
Settle.
So it's like the unlikeliest number one, the unlikeliest coach, team up and win the unlikeliest NBA championship, not in terms of like, oh, the team wasn't good or they were an 8 seed. Like, no, they were good, but it's like how they won these games, because the way that the Spurs led, like, there's a universe where the Spurs sweep this series, and this is one of the most least competitive finals ever. If the Spurs had any ability to close out games and to finish strong and to not wilt.
Right. Yeah, no,
that's a universe.
The Spurs just kind of gave it away. I mean, I don't know about giving it away, but had they had the clutch gene in them, this would have definitely went the other way.
Mm-hmm. That's what it is, right? Like, to me, it as much as we clown on just like analysis being, oh, clutch gene, or he doesn't have that dog in him. Like, straight up, the Spurs for nearly 80 out of 100 minutes, the Spurs are the better team.
Right.
But then it's those 20 minutes they get so badly outplayed, and it happens to be always in the most important spot of the game, that they'll be up by 14, and then the Knicks will win a game by 2 points. Just like that.
Right.
And I've never seen anything like it. Like, both the ability to come back and then just the inability to just close and finish strong. And like, I like, obviously, like, the Knicks deserve immense props and that, but like, I can't get over every single game following the same script. Every single game had the same script. And there was like, and is it a, Wemby, like in game 4 being the I'm in your head, like, was it just the Spurs players just like letting the Knicks get in their head? Was it just like Mitch Johnson showing how like behind he was in terms of coaching and adjustments compared to a veteran like Mike Brown? Like, I'm trying to figure out what the difference was.
Yeah. I was going to say you are kind of out on Wemby, aren't you?
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up. Before this series, I was very okay, even though Wemby had a couple incidents, like in second round against Minnesota, he elbows Naz Reid in the throat, and I'm like, okay, that's not good. But like, even still, I was like, hey, the guy is a good ambassador of the game. He cares a lot about making sure there's good product, about being out there, like all this stuff. Like, he's such a unique type of player, all these things, and it's like, all right, I'm good with that. I'm kind of out on him though, just as like, he's a dirty player.
Yeah.
Oh, and like multiple times, it's not just the call that should have been a flagrant on him when he pushes Brunson down, but like the landing zone fouls, the screens. Like, there were multiple instances throughout the series, both called and not called, where it's like, what are you doing, man? Like, you're 7'4". You do not have to stoop to this level. Just go out there and hoop. And I don't know if it's like part of his over competitiveness. I don't know if it just he has a bad attitude. And like, the time during the press conferences, you'd be like, oh, I'm prepared to we're going to come back from 3-1, and just like this supreme confidence and ego that is clearly like undeserved, because not only did his team melt down, but like, he was largely responsible for those meltdowns. Like game 2, he had like the turnovers where he threw it off of De'Aaron Fox's back, and they turned the ball over. And then game 4, in the largest collapse in the history of the finals, he had 2 free throws in the final minute and a half. He missed both of them. Both of them.
Yeah.
And so, and like, he leaves the court. He doesn't stay in the court. Immediately gets out after game 5. Doesn't shake hands, which, like, I didn't have a terrible problem with, because it's not like hockey where they all line up and shake hands. But like, I don't know. I think that he has a lot of maturing to do.
Yeah.
Before we can crown him at the face of the NBA. Obviously he's supremely talented, but I didn't like a lot of what I saw. And honestly, like, I found myself kind of seeing him as a potential villain of the league for the next decade, more so than he's the face of the league.
That's what I was going to get to, is if he continues to get deep into playoffs, like he's going to be more and more hated as it goes. Very much so. People are not going to like watching him play.
Yeah. And people are going to be like, oh, he's French. Well, like, no, there's all of the foreign guys, like, no, at no point has been like, oh, Nikola Jokic, who's like kind of aloof, like he's not whatever outspoken at all, like not someone I would want to represent my league because he just has no personality. But like people are root against Jokic, like Giannis, like people are root against Giannis, people are root against Luke, but like Wemby, I could absolutely see a scenario where people are just like, this guy, like, cause it's just there's too many dirty things that he's doing out there that he doesn't need to be doing. Dude, like you were so much bigger than everyone else. You have these gifts, like you have the potential to be someone that we've never seen in this sport. Like, don't throw it away by throwing cheap elbows at guys that are over a foot smaller than you.
Right. No, I'm with you. I think that will be he'll. The longer it goes, we're going to be more annoyed by him, and we saw some of his true colors. But I think you said it best. Like, he does need to grow up a little bit. Just grow up and play. Just grow up and dominate. Yeah.
If you're the Spurs, like, obviously you feel still very good overall though about your future, where it's, your top 3 players are 22 and younger.
Yeah.
Dylan Harper, I got to tell you, man, Dylan Harper, I think, was the overall best player for the Spurs in this series. He was phenomenal. Like, and De'Aaron Fox made himself incredibly expendable. Where like if I'm the Spurs, like this offseason, like my focus, just find a taker for De'Aaron Fox. You give Dylan Harper his spot in the rotation, and you just say, hey, Dylan, Castle, like you're our backcourt now for the next 10 years. Like, it's easy.
Yeah,
you have everything in place there. Like, and I think though you can't guarantee, oh yeah, they're going to be back like right away. Just we've had 8 different champions in 8 years. And I think how many teams have even got back to the conference finals in back-to-back years? Like not just NBA, like conference finals. It's rare. I mean,
the Thunder would be one.
Yeah, Thunder. Well, I think the Pacers ended up going back-to-back conference finals, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, Pacers. Obviously the Knicks did.
Knicks. Yeah,
I know,
but it's not. Yeah, but it hasn't been super common.
No. Like, we thought the Bucks, when Giannis are like, oh, this is the first of multiple championships for Giannis, he's going to take over the sport. They haven't come close since then. Jokic, the best player, potentially the best offensive player that we've had in basketball. They won their championship. I don't even think they've been in a conference final since then.
No, they have not.
So, like, we can't assume that with the Spurs it's going to be the same thing. I don't think so. But the only advantage that the Spurs have is that they're so young. Like, the fact that they already got here at how young they are, like, definitely works as an advantage to them.
But that's good for the NBA. Like, having new blood and different blood all the time, that's good for the NBA. And we saw it in the ratings. Now, obviously, New York City being in the finals helped, but ratings for the NBA were off the charts this year. Which, I know you and I like that because we're always laughing at nobody watches the NBA crowd. There was a lot of watching the NBA.
Rodney, the NBA is dying crowd might have some explaining to do, considering that this was the highest watched NBA final since 1998, which was Michael Jordan's final last dance.
Yeah.
Like,
NBA,
what is
NBA it? Just fine.
Yeah, I think that one, the game five was like the most watched NBA game since I think game 7 of Cavs Warriors, like the LeBron and the Cavs, they win it in game 7. Like, that's what this is. This was game 5. Like,
no, for sure. The NBA loves that, and obviously the New York City part plays a big factor in that one. But
I expected more destruction of New York City. I got to be honest. I felt a little underwhelmed by the amount of good, clean fun happening in the celebrations. I thought the city would be on fire.
Yeah. They were talking about taking the Statue of Liberty down and dragging it across the ocean or the river and all that. But Yeah, no, I mean, thank you, New York City, for not going over. Well, someone went overboard, but today's parade was another success. It looked like a fun time down there. It was packed at 6 a.m. this morning for the Knicks parade. Knicks Mania is back in Manhattan.
Mm-hmm. Without a doubt. I heard someone mention, I forget where I heard it, but like someone brought up a great point where it's like, they're like, I don't understand why when a team wins, like when your team wins, your first instinct is to like destroy things.
Yeah,
like,
stupid.
Oh, like, could you imagine, Rodney? It's like, oh, the Cardinals won the World Series. I'm gonna go light a car on fire.
No.
And then he's like, if anything, you should be going to the other city that of the team that you just beat, and then light their shit on fire. Like,
right? Yeah,
that would make more sense, right?
That is one of the weirdest things. And you got to think other countries, and I know they do weird stuff in other countries, but you got to think other countries are like, hold on a second. You're destroying things after you win? Like, what? Huh? Yeah, no, it's an odd ceremony to do that.
I've never understood it. Like, I truly have never gotten it. Okay, so you mentioned earlier, so you're not picking the Knicks to go back to back. You think this is one-off thing here. So according to DraftKings Sportsbook, the San Antonio Spurs are the slight favorite to win the championship next year, just ahead of the Oklahoma City Thunder. It's no surprise that it's Spurs Thunder, or your 1-2. Then the Knicks aren't even the favorites in the East. That would be the Boston Celtics, who are ahead of them. And then this is interesting here. You have a pretty large gap from those four to then everyone else, where like the Knicks are plus 650, and then the next teams are like the Pacers and the Nuggets that are each at 28-1. So there's a group of 2 Western Conference teams, 2 Eastern Conference teams that are head and shoulders above everyone else. Where you get Pacers, which, by the way, Pacers being that high up after the season they just had, like they're banking a lot on the injured guys coming back.
Yeah.
Also, like they don't have a first round pick this year. They don't have that 6th overall, 5th overall, 6th overall pick, which is
those odds don't seem right on the Pacers.
Yeah, so Pacers, Nuggets, Pistons, Cavaliers, Lakers, Timberwolves are all there. Interestingly, the Miami Heat are 40-1. I think that's a lot of people assuming that they're going to land Giannis.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, looking at that, like I feel like it, a bet on the Pistons is not a bad idea.
The Pistons had the benefit of going through they're like, oh, this is how to win in the playoffs. Like they struggled in that first round series against Orlando and had to come back from down 3-1. And then second round rolls around and they were once again humbled by Cleveland and they got trounced in like games that they needed to win.
Yeah.
Like that's the type of thing that I've been talking about a lot. Like these young, inexperienced teams, they need to go through those types of postseasons. And it just so happened the Spurs went through theirs in the finals, but like we saw it in with the Thunder for years up until last year. I think we saw it with the Pistons last year. I think the Pistons make a lot of sense there, and they're a team that I think is in a really good spot to make moves, whether it's through free agency or it's trade. Like I think they're going to be very aggressive.
In the West, my initial thought is kind of not one of the top 2. My initial thought is like a Minnesota could break through.
That's the team that of all of the teams that have been competing in the West, like they're the only ones that like they haven't had their turn yet. Denver had its turn, OKC had its turn, San Antonio's had its turn. Like all these teams in the West have like made it, like even like the Lakers and Phoenix, like they've all been to the finals in the last 7-ish years or so. Minnesota's the only one. And I feel like they can do it. I really like where your head's at with them.
Yeah, Minnesota, Detroit are kind of the 2 underdogs that, they're not underdogs, but not the top dogs that I think are due and have the ability to do it.
Yeah. I'm very interested in the Thunder. Like I get why the Thunder would be so high, but I also think that they have a lot of question marks with like Chet Holmgren as a long-term answer against Wemby. which in the Western Conference Final, that was by far and away the biggest difference. And then also, like, the Thunder are low-key going to be in some salary trouble where they're going to have to, like, make some real decisions on their bench. And a big reason why the Thunder, I think, are so successful is because of how deep they are. But, like, those guys are going to need to get paid, and Thunder aren't going to be able to pay them. So, like, suddenly their depth, one of their biggest strengths, gets significantly lessened. So, yeah, it's fun when the NBA, like, has these situations where you have 8 different champs in 8 years. It's like, what's going to happen? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. And there's a draft to get to. There's free agency. Like, there's a lot of question marks here. Will
Houston ever break through?
I don't love Houston's roster. They don't have like the guard play needed. Durant's old.
Yeah.
I think Şengün's really talented, but I think that he's another one of those guys. I think, like, if you try to put him up against the other centers in the West, like Wemby and Jokic, like, I don't know if you're going to get a lot of success there.
I mean, Cleveland going to get back
with Harden?
Probably not.
And I like Cleveland. Like, I feel like the last 2 years I've been like one of the biggest supporters of Cleveland, but like, it's kind of obvious now that if James Harden's one of your go-to guys, you're not really going to succeed in the playoffs. It's not going to work. Like, even if he's not their number one, Donovan Mitchell's their number one, but like,
correct.
James Harden's been on teams where he's not the number one, whether Joel Embiid was the number one or Kawhi Leonard. It's like, it never works. It's never worked.
No, has not worked. Right. I'm trying to think, Philadelphia breaking through, or like, where's their window? What's their, I don't know. Like, they're just mid, right?
Is Joel Embiid going to play more than like 30 games in a year?
It's not likely.
So that's it. I mean, Tyrese Maxey's really good. They have VJ Edgecombe, who had a really promising rookie year. It's a good team, but just there's too many question marks. Honestly, like, if the Knicks run it back with the same exact starting five and only like make some tweaks to their bench, they're probably going to be like right up there again. No?
Yeah. They would be. Yeah, they would be.
I'm like you. I was stunned. The Pacers have the 5th best odds to win the championship next year.
Yeah, that doesn't seem right. Something's wrong there.
Well, it's just it's banking on what they've been when they've been healthy, which is, I mean, and next year, like, they're gonna have Tyrese Halliburton, Pascal Siakam, Vicha Zubac. They traded Mathurin, but they got I mean, it's going to be a good team, but like, it's Tyrese Halliburton, a year removed from playing basketball, had the most major injury you could have in the NBA, and expecting him to come in right away and be like a top 3 seed in the East. I don't know. All right, moving on real quick. We didn't talk much, but in addition to the Knicks being champions, the Carolina Hurricanes, they are our national heroes, preventing the Vegas Golden Knights from winning a Stanley Cup, their second Stanley Cup. And Carolina instead gets its second. It's 20 years exactly from when they last won in 2006. I was obviously very much saying they're done. I've been picking the Canes. I said Montreal was going to beat them after they lost game 1. And I said Vegas was going to sweep them. Now, it did take a little bit of magic, and Carolina made a goalie change in game 4 of this series that ended up being the right move. But the Hurricanes are Stanley Cup champions, and I wanted to throw this your way here. Both the Knicks and the Hurricanes lost 3 games their entire postseason runs, where the Knicks lost 2 in the first round and then 1 more, which was in the NBA Finals. The Hurricanes, meanwhile, lost 1 in the conference finals and then 2 in the Stanley Cup. So 16-3 for both of these champs. Do you have a pick about which one specifically was more dominant?
I mean, it's hard for me to think anybody was more dominant than the New York Knicks, but maybe that's because I followed the National Basketball Association playoffs a little bit more than the National Hockey League. I mean, the way you put it, they were both obviously very dominant. I mean, my initial instinct is the Knicks because of the amount of blowouts that they had, but like hockey, I mean, hockey's not really meant for blowouts. Like 3-1, it could be a blowout, right? So it's a hard question. I probably take the Knicks.
Which I understand that, and I totally see it, especially with the first. If this was after the first 3 rounds, where the Knicks have the best point differential in the history of the playoffs at that point, like, yeah, I think that's your answer. But I think I'm going to lean the Canes for 2 reasons. Okay. Number one, I think the fact that the Knicks had to come back in every single win that they had in the finals, and the overall series was largely dominated by the Spurs until the Knicks ended up winning. And then number 2, like, hockey is such it could go any way. Like, the playoffs are so unpredictable. You mentioned puck luck can change so many things. One goal makes so much difference, a lot more than one basket does in the NBA. But yet the Hurricanes, with all of those factors and the wild unpredictability that is the Stanley Cup playoffs, still only lost 3 games the entire postseason. Like, I know in the NBA that we've had champions that go all the way through 4 rounds and have had 3 losses or less. I don't know how often that's happened in hockey. Like, I don't think we see that happen in hockey very often in 4 best-of-7 series where you lose 3 games the entire postseason. It's such a physical game. You have guys that are playing hurt. Like, one small thing can lead to a goal. Like, it requires so much focus and intensity, and the fact that they still ended up 16-3 it was incredible in that sport. So I think I'm going to lean the Canes with all those caveats I had about the Knicks.
Yeah, I mean, obviously both impressive, but I mean, that's a great question that I think you could debate all day. But I don't know. I love the fact that the Knicks basically just said we're dominating from start to finish, and you can say that about the Canes too. But and you're right. The NBA Finals were a little bit, Spurs dominated some of those, but leading up to the NBA Finals, the Knicks dominated through the Eastern Conference.
Yes. I mean, Game 3 in the finals was their first loss since I was still living in Central Illinois.
Since Game 3 of the first round.
Yeah, Game 3 of the first round, where I was in East Peoria getting ready for a big cross-country road trip. Like, that was 2 months ago.
Yeah.
That's a long time. That's a long time. And whooping ass, too, in all of those games. It wasn't just like, oh, they were squeaking by. Like, they were destroying teams.
Dominating, yeah. So good question, though.
All right, I put this on there. Stupid World Cup updates. The stupidest World Cup updates. I know, Rodney, you've been kind of tuning in and out of the World Cup a bit. Every team has now played its first game in the World Cup, including the United States, who I think a lot of people are very high on the U.S. now after their thorough butt whooping of Paraguay. So USA back tomorrow against Australia, where they're a pretty big favorite against Australia. So this is a very nice group for the U.S. Obviously, the big stories, I would say, you have Lionel Messi, who gets a hat trick in his first matchup. You have Spain tying with Cape Verde, which have you seen the whole thing with the Cape Verde goalkeeper?
No. Explain to me.
So his name is, and I apologize if I'm mispronouncing this. It's Josimar Diaz. He is the official the Cape Verde national team goalkeeper. It was a 0-0 draw against Spain, who, Spain and France are like the co-favorites to win the whole thing. So this is arguably the best nation in the world. After the 0-0 draw, Josimar Diaz, the goalie, he had just under 50,000 followers on Instagram. As of right now, I'm looking at his profile. He has 13.9 million followers on Instagram. He went from about like 48,000 to just shy of 14 million followers on Instagram.
That's wild. That is wild.
And that's the power of the World Cup. Like,
yeah.
They're not even there. I looked up Cape Verde. there's like less than 500,000 people in the entire nation, and yet he has 14 million people following him worldwide.
Yeah, could you imagine being like, okay, you obviously played, so you weren't on Instagram. Maybe like you're not on there a whole bunch. You didn't get on until like the next morning. Like you had the game, you got on the next morning, and you got like 13.5 million new notifications.
Yeah. It's my nightmare. Like, imagine you suddenly have 14 million people going through your shit, like looking at all your old photos, like with your bad captions, like stuff that you thought was really cool at the time, but it aged very poorly, and like everyone just sees that now. Like, I would hate that. People have always been like, "Oh, I'd love to be famous." No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't.
No.
Not like that.
Yeah.
Not this type of famous where you have like no control over it, and suddenly everything that you've ever done is now suddenly known by millions of people.
Yeah. But back to USA, like USA obviously looked really good. They do have a good draw. Obviously, if they beat Australia, they're probably looking at, three wins in their pool. Like, what's their ceiling?
So I don't know if you know this, but FIFA has some like corruption allegations in its past. And there's like the tinfoil hat part of me thinks that like the favorable group just, I don't know. Like, I feel like the USA could actually make a run that's much deeper than people expect. I don't think they're going to have enough to win the whole thing, but like they're certainly going to advance to the knockout stage. Depending on how things are breaking, like their first round matchup, it's going to be against like Qatar or Iran, or like they might not really face a team that they're underdogs against until like the round of 16 at minimum.
Yeah.
It's not bad. That's not a bad draw if you're the US. Yeah. So I think a lot of people probably see them as like a round of 16 team right now.
But like, is that enough? Like, should this team be more than that?
I mean, the United States should always be more than that, but
that's what I think too.
Right? Considering the strength of other nations when in soccer stuff, like you just look at the rosters and everything. Like, no, I think the U.S. being I think their FIFA rankings have them as like a top 15 team right now in the world. Yeah. So that's probably right around where they should be. So I think if you look at it that way, if they get to the round of 16, that's basically in their own nation, right? Like it's their home World Cup. It's the only time that these guys are ever going to play in a World Cup in their own country. I would say like round 16 should be like the standard of what they do. And then if you somehow advance that and you find yourself in the quarterfinals or better, then it's like, all right, now we have really like set a precedent for what United States soccer on the men's side can be going forward.
Yeah. I'm just curious, like what is the expectation from those that know soccer? And I'm not necessarily meaning you. I mean, you know more soccer than I do, but I don't think you consider yourself a World Cup soccer expert by any means. But I just kind of wondered, like, what is the expectation? Because they should win this group. You said it. They should have a pretty good first round matchup. But like, I don't know. I feel like you'd be kind of disappointed if you lost in the round of 16.
Well, if you lose in the round 16, I mean, it depends on who they play. Like if they're in the round of 16, like I don't know what the bracket is off the top of my head or like what the most likely matchup. But like if they end up facing Germany and then they lose in the round of 16, like I don't think people are going to be like, oh, how can you lose to Germany? Like this is different than like World Cup qualifying a few years ago where they would lose to these small island nations that have less than 100,000 people on them. And then lose and not qualify for the World Cup. Like that's different. So the standards have already been raised and the expectations, but I think it's just about building on that for the future.
So I did see this, and I have no idea how true it is because social media is weird. You know this.
Yeah.
But I saw that there was an opportunity that the United States and England could potentially play on July 4th in Philadelphia. Just think about that. July 4th.
I'm thinking about
Philadelphia, U.S., England. Be kind of cool.
Well, I would say so. I would say that's probably the best case scenario for all of us if that happens. Yeah, I don't know if that's true. Like I'm looking right now. So after the initial first, matches for each team, as of now, USA would be playing Bosnia and Herzegovina in the first, like the round of 32. After that, they would face the winner of Belgium and Czechia. And then like England's on the total other side of the bracket. So I think that there would have to be some things that would change. Unless you just got by the internet, which is a possibility.
Yeah, probably. But anyways, that's the Stupidest World Cup update right there. There you go.
And I didn't even put in the show stuff, the US Open, which started today. We didn't get a chance to do a lineup, unfortunately. I didn't get a chance to even watch any of the US Open. I'm sure you didn't either, but I was surprised when I saw that you had a bunch of guys that were sitting at 2 under, 1 under, and then Wyndham Clark, former US Open champion, who was at 6 under and actually still on the course. Or did they suspend play?
They went to delay. Yeah, it's too dark. But yeah, so 6 under. But like I think the bigger story is like Dustin Johnson, Gary Woodland are both 2 under.
Rodney, this would have been if we did a lineup with your guys, man. Like I could have totally seen you putting together a lineup with Dustin Johnson, Gary Woodland, and John Rahm all in it.
Yeah. Bryson DeChambeau's 1 under. Tommy Fleetwood's even. Yeah, I like to look at day one as like who is not going to make the cut, and well, Jason Day withdrew, so he will not be making the cut. And then kind of looking at the list, like Siwoo Kim 7 over, not making
Victor
Daniel
Hovland is 6. Yeah, Victor Hovland 6 over, still on the course, still has to finish his first round, but I feel confident that he's done.
Cam Smith was a popular choice, 5 over. Got a lot of work to do on Friday to make it. Patrick Cantlay 4 over. So yeah, there's some trouble there for some of those guys. Scotty Scheffler, Jordan Spieth 3 over, Justin Rose 3 over.
Yeah, Scotty Scheffler 2 over. You mentioned that, but the whole tournament so far, there's 17 guys that are under par, which is not a lot for a U.S. Open size field. And this is a very difficult course. Shinnecock Hills, like the last U.S. Open that was here, was won with a score of, I think it was either even or 1 over that Brooks Koepka had. It's a very difficult course. So like Wyndham Clark standing out with a 6 under is just a crazy anomaly and makes him a massive favorite, especially as a former U.S. Open champion. It makes him a massive favorite for the rest of this tournament here. So definitely we'll have eyes on that for the remainder of the weekend. But Wyndham Clark. That would be quite surprised because like he hasn't played particularly well. Like he won that U.S. Open a couple years ago, and he kind of like has just been going through the motions a little bit. He hasn't really seriously contended up until now. So
it would be fun. It would be interesting for him.
Yeah. All right. We got about 15 minutes left on the show here. We still got to do best bets for betting and all that, but I wanted to do a little rapid fire. MLB, we got the trade deadline that's coming up in about a month and a half or so, which, Roddy, I cannot get over how fast baseball season goes every single year. Like, we're already approaching the halfway mark of the year.
Yeah.
Like we're played over 70 games, just like that. Yeah. But it's not too early to start looking at a few teams that I think are right on that cusp of like, are they, they're all in the mix. Some are better than others, but I'm going to give you some teams. You tell me if you think that they're going to be trade deadline buyers, sellers, or holders. Easy enough?
Yeah, it seems easy to me. I think I can handle this one.
All right, let's start with the Chicago White Sox. Lost 2 out of 3 to the Yankees. They were able to win today. They are tied with Cleveland for first place in the AL Central at 39 and 34. Is that enough for them to be buyers? I don't think they're going to be sellers, but is that enough for them to be buyers, or do you think that they just stay the course?
I think the White Sox will be mostly holders. I don't know. I don't think they're going to do much. I think they'll be pretty inactive at the deadline. I'm not sure what they would want to give up. Obviously, minor leaguers, but I think they're probably knowing that this is a little ahead of schedule and maybe too overzealous to necessarily go for it all at this point. I think the White Sox are holders.
Yeah, like I think holder unless there's a crazy hot or crazy cold run over the next few weeks. Like if they come out of the All-Star break and they lose like 10 of 11 games and they fall out of first place and they're under 500 and all this, then maybe you see a couple sells. Like they got vets that they can move. But yeah, I think I'm with you there. I think holding makes sense. All right, next, the Cincinnati Reds. They're last place right now, but 35 and 38. I mean, they're only 3 games out of third, which is where the Cubs are. Like the NL Central so close, the National League wildcard race so close. They're still very much in that range of like, could they go for it? What do you think the Reds are going to do with this deadline?
I think the Reds will be sellers.
Really?
I think they're going to be sellers. I think they're going to find themselves, it's just not quite our year. And let's see if we can go get something, give up a thing or two that maybe won't cost us a lot. But I think they're going to be more sellers. There's a ton of teams ahead of them. Yes, they're only 3 back, but you've got Miami, Pittsburgh, Arizona, Cubs, Washington, San Diego, Philly, and St. Louis all ahead of them. I think the Reds will sell.
What do you think a trade package for Ellie De La Cruz would look like? Would the Reds even entertain that?
Yeah, that's interesting. I doubt they'd entertain that. I don't know as if they're going to give up their face, right? Like that's the face. I don't know if they're giving that up.
All right, next, the Arizona Diamondbacks, currently a half game behind San Diego for second in the West. They're over 500, 38 and 36. Division is very much out of the question, I think, with the Dodgers there, but wild card. Obviously very much in the mix. A half game out of the wild card right now where there's just a slew of teams that are all there. If I'm Arizona, what's my decision for the trade deadline?
I feel like Arizona always buys, right?
They do, right?
Yeah. I feel like it's and maybe it's not huge, but they go get somebody. So I'm putting Arizona as a buyer. You think
Arizona's really good at being the team that like gets a player who's been on the trade market or like a really big free agent. It's like comes in nowhere. Like Zach Greinke could be a free agent, and it's like, oh, he went to Arizona. Like same with Corbin Burns, and like they'll make they'll come out of nowhere. They're the very good coming out of nowhere to make a move team for sure. But I think they'll end up being buyers. I think they buy as well. This is an interesting one. The Houston Astros, who you said Astros are done. They're only 2.5 games out of the wild card right now. They're also in a very bad AL West and 4 games out of first place. They've had injuries. Yordan Alvarez is flirting with a triple crown right now. What do you think the Astros do?
I think the Astros are holders.
Holders.
I don't think they go into complete sell mode. I'm not sure they're aggressive enough to buy. And I think they still think if they get their guys healthy, that they can make a playoff. And making the playoffs is enough for them. So I think they'll be holders.
I think that they are a very, very, very boring buy. Like their season's gonna improve a little bit. The division's gonna be within reach. And like their moves are going to be like, oh, we're going to get a backup outfielder or we're going to get like a reliever. Like it's not going to be anything that is a real sort of game changer. Like they're not going to enter the Tarek Skubal sweepstakes. Like it's going to be some middle reliever there to bolster their bullpen behind Josh Hader and them. It's sticking in the AL West. How about the Cityless Athletics, who are 2 games behind Seattle right now in the American League West? I said it like the beginning of the year. I think that this is going to be a playoff team, but struggle with pitching. They got a bad run differential. Do you see how high scoring the games in Las Vegas were, by the way? Like,
yeah, that's got to be something going on there, right? Are we thinking everything's going to be the over next year, or when they do play there?
or when they do, well, the new stadium's gonna have a roof on it. The minor league ballpark that they play in there doesn't have a roof, which God, that seems like a terrible decision. If I'm have a AAA team there, stadium without a roof, but A's buyers, sellers, or holders?
I think they're sellers.
Still,
I think they're seller. Yeah. I'm not buying in the Athletics. I think they're sellers. I think they're cheap, right? They want to sell players.
They were cheap, but like they have to do something to drum up interest for the big Vegas move, and they need to get people excited about Athletics baseball. I think they will be holders to buyers. So okay. I'm against you there. And then our last one, your St. Louis Cardinals getting pounded today, but otherwise playing some really good baseball. 40 wins. They're still behind the Brewers, but ahead of the Cubs, Pirates, Reds, firmly in a wild card spot right now. The Cardinals are going to do what next month?
I think they're going to be holders too. And holders to sellers. I think they could trade a bullpen piece or two and just fill in with what they have. I don't see them going to get core like offensive help. I think they like the guys that they have and want to do this, with homegrown young guys that are hungry. I don't look at a position in the lineup and they're going to go buy at that spot. I think they're going to want to see Blaze Jordan play out here. Obviously, Mason Wynn, J.J. Weatherholt, Alec Burleson sitting around the infield is what they want to do. Jordan Walker in the outfield. Maybe you could go get a corner outfielder or a center fielder, but I just don't think it's happening. I think they're going to be holders to even a buy, or even a seller to that maybe doesn't necessarily affect their team all that much, but I don't think they'll buy.
All right. I've been dying to talk about this for 2 weeks. I know that we're running short on time, but I'm going to throw it out there. We need to talk about dirty sodas.
Okay.
Do you know what the dirty sodas are? Have you seen this trend? And what is your knowledge about dirty sodas?
Well, I'm not overly familiar with dirty sodas. As you know, I am a soda guy.
Yes.
I do like soda.
Yes.
I like my Pepsi. I like my Mountain Dew. Those are my two favorites. But a couple weeks, maybe even months ago, I had a dirty soda at Applebee's. It was a special or something. I don't remember what it was. And it was like, what is this? What am I ordering here? It was decent. It was decent. But tell me more. Tell me more before I answer the yum or yuck.
All right, so dirty sodas, for those that don't know, it's this new sort of trend where they take sodas like Coca-Cola or Dr. Pepper. So they take the soda. Usually they'll add a type of flavored syrup to it, and then maybe some type of cream. So a classic dirty Dr. Pepper is Dr. Pepper, coconut syrup, and then some lime juice. But then you could have the Orange Dream where they take sun-kissed orange soda, vanilla creamer, and Irish cream.
Okay.
So it's basically how do we take soda and add a lot more sugar and all that to it and just make it crazy, crazy sweet and delicious. And Rodney, I'm sure it was delicious, the one that you had. Do you remember if it was a Dr. Pepper or Coke or
yeah,
orange, or do you remember the base?
Yeah, it would have been a Coke.
Okay. My thing with these is that so I think what really set me off the edge is Crumble Cookie, which Crumble Cookie already makes the cookies that are 2,000 calories.
Yeah.
But now they have these dirty sodas, and a 32 ounce, it was one of their dirty sodas, a 32 ounce version of it had the same amount of sugar as 19 Krispy Kreme donuts. There is no human being on this world or in this world that should be consuming that much sugar at any time. And looking here, these typical dirty sodas are anywhere from like 40 grams to 180 grams of sugar per serving. That sounds awful. Like to the point where I'm going to take a sip of it and my foot is just going to fall off. Like we're going to skip the whole like diabetes thing and we're just going to go straight to my foot falling off.
Yeah. That is wild. That's a lot, man. Like
that's insane. Like how is this legal? That's what I want to know. How are businesses allowed to sell something like this that is just like that much sugar and fat? Like this has to be the worst thing to ever be allowed to go inside of your body. Like worse than any type of alcohol, worse than any type of cigarette. Like it's this. In my opinion, it's this.
So go to Crumble and get a cookie and a dirty soda, spend $20 and get 4,500 calories.
4,500 calories and like 300 grams of sugar.
Yeah. And be sick. Yeah. No, I mean, the one I had was pretty good. I don't know exactly the details it had. I can't imagine it was as fatty as that, but maybe. I don't know. But so you're not in on dirty sodas then?
I'm so far yuck. I don't think that there's anything worse that you could put in your body. I think that children should not be allowed to be anywhere near this. This should come with several warning labels. You should have to pass a fitness test to make sure that you are healthy enough to drink this, because the second that you do drink it, your body will become so unhealthy that you might not be able to function as a member of society again. Like if you're already unhealthy and then you drink this, I think that might be it for you. I'm stunned that we're allowing these in our society.
Yeah.
So that's all. I just needed to share that with you. I've been dying to talk about it. All right. Best bets for betting. Let's do it. Rodney, why don't you go ahead and walk through your bets?
Yeah. All right. I'll go tomorrow's shoot. Go ahead. Press that again.
Oh, sorry.
Me. No, I did it. All right. I'll go U.S. tomorrow. I'll go U.S. over Australia minus 175, eating a little bit of that favorite. But USA wins tomorrow. I'll go Cardinals bouncing back against the Royals. They gave up 14 tonight, but St. Louis picks up a win. Let me explain something to you. Cardinals have Saturday off.
Yeah.
That's weird. But the World Cup's in Kansas City. So Thursday, Friday, Sunday. But Cardinals over the Royals. I'll take the Pirates over the Rockies. For one, because I think the Rockies are bad. And for two, Kyle Freeland is pitching for Colorado, and he is 1-7 on the season with a 7.98 ERA. I'll take Bubba Chandler, who has not been very good either, for the Pirates to beat the Rockies. WNBA action, I'll take the Lynx, but it is a road game, but I think the Lynx are the best team in the league. I think they're awfully dang good. I'll take them at Golden State, minus 2.5. And then back to baseball. Out west, I'm going to take the Mariners over the Red Sox, another late game there. That is Bryce Miller pitching for Seattle. So Cardinals, USA, Pirates, Lynx, and Mariners for me.
Love it. All right. My bees for bees. We're going to start with my Yankees. They're big favorites at home, hosting the Cincinnati Reds. Cam Schlittler, still the favorite for American League Cy Young's on the bump. I like the Yankees to win by a 1.5. They'll get back on track against Rhett Lauder and the Reds. Next, Nationals and Rays. It's a little like the total here is a little bit lower than I would have expected. They only have it at 8 runs right now. These are two pretty good offenses. The Nationals obviously can hit the ball. Rays, I think, have a good offense. Neither team's putting out a great starting pitcher. So I'm going to say that we see some runs in Tampa. I'm also going to go with your Cardinals. I like them tomorrow to bounce back against the Kansas City Royals. McGreevy on the mound. Dodgers, they're hosting the Baltimore Orioles. The Orioles have been very disappointing again this year. Roki Sasaki's on the bump for LA. Roki Sasaki, even though his ERA is still close to 5, he's been pitching a lot better his last couple starts. So, and Trey Gibson, by the way, for the Orioles has a 6 ERA. So this is just screaming Dodgers on Friday nights. And then Turkey A, not Turkey, Turkey A. is a small money line favorite against Paraguay, but I liked Turkey as one of the top teams in the group. Paraguay, we saw that they're not all that great the way that the USA trounced them. So I'm going to take Turkey to beat them outright on Friday. All 5 of these games on Friday, by the way, and those are my B's for B's. Reminder that going into this weekend, Rodney is a dismal, pathetic 86-94. And I am a kind of mediocre, but much better 91-89. All right. Let's remember someone. Hey, Rodney. Remember Jason Kendall?
Jason Kendall. Yes, I do. Pirates catcher.
Mm-hmm. Pirates catcher. That's right. Yeah. Pirates catcher. He played for a couple of teams, played for Oakland, spent like half a year with the Cubs, Milwaukee, finished his career in 2010 in Kansas City, which honestly, I'm surprised he like played all the way through like until 2010. Like I always envisioned him as like 90s, early 2000s. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I surprised he made it to 2010, but 15 years in the major leagues and 3-time All-Star. One of the first instances, like, baseball for, I don't know if you knew this, Rodney, for many years, baseball lineups kind of had like, all right, our leadoff hitter needs to be the speed guy. It needs to be, the center fielder. It needs to be the middle infielder. Like that was sort of the build. But Jason Kendall, as a catcher, I remember him hitting leadoff for the Pittsburgh Pirates. And it wasn't like, oh, it's because the Pirates had no one else. No, it's because Jason Kendall was hitting 320, 330. His 1999 season, I'll do another one because he missed some time with injury. But 2000, he was an all-star with Pittsburgh, hit 320, on-base percentage of 412. I mean, that is definitely like leadoff good. And not just, a few home runs, but 22 steals. So he was someone who like didn't have power, had 75 homers his entire career, but had 189 steals as a catcher. So over double the amount of steals to home runs, hit 288 for his career. A rare, like speedy leadoff, contact hitting, no power catcher. In a time, this is well before, like we saw Joe Mauer that took it to a whole other level and hitting at the top of the lineup and hitting for great averages, and all the guys that we've seen in the 2020s now. But Jason Kendall, that's what I remember him, like a very unique catcher that we hadn't seen before him.
Yeah, I'm going to look. He hit 75 career home runs. He just didn't hit home runs.
Like his career high, I think, was 14. Never had more than 14 home runs in a year, but like he had 22 steals in a season.
Yeah. 288 hitter. Yeah. That's crazy how like that was like good. He's so good in that era, but like 75 home runs in the era now would be like, dude, that guy can't hit. He can't hit for power. That's weird.
That guy sucks.
That's crazy.
Yeah. He is the all-time leader in the Major League. He holds the Major League record for most career stolen bases by a catcher since the dead ball era with 189. I also didn't mention this. Like the high batting averages mean that he has a lot of hits. He had just shy of 2,200 hits for his career. 15 years, almost 2,200 hits. By the time he retired, he was second among all Major League catchers in career hits and career doubles behind only Pudge Rodriguez. That's pretty good.
It's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. So very solid defensively, like very good pitch blocker. Didn't have the best like throwing arm as far as stealing, but like called a good game behind the plate and got a ton of hits, man. Like 2,200 hits as a catcher a lot. So super underrated player, 3-time All-Star, mostly known with the Pittsburgh Pirates for sure. So I wanted to celebrate Jason Kendall today.
Yeah, that's a good find. A good remembrance there. And that's a good one. Those are the type of guys that we want, you remember, but you don't quite remember. Like I would never have guessed he only had 75 home runs. I probably wouldn't think, maybe 150, 200. No, 75. That's wild.
Yeah. Barely hit home runs, but yet 2,200 hits and let off, and still has the record for most steals by a catcher, which is fun.
Yeah, I do remember his Cub one year. I do remember that.
It was like half. Yeah, it was like half a season. I think the back end of 2007 is when he was with the Cubs.
Yeah,
is that one of the Cubs' good years? So that was like right before Giovanni Soto came up for them. But I didn't know if that was one of the Cubs' better years.
Yeah, I mean, he got just traded in July, so he only really spent half a season there, and then went to the Brewers and Royals and finished up from there. So it's crazy.
Jason Kendall, we remember you on the Stupidest Sports Show on Earth. All right, let's get out of here. Reminder, you can follow us at Stupid Sports Show on Twitter, not X, on Twitter. And then Rodney's still doing his Substack every day. The QR code in the corner of your screen takes you to said Substack, so make sure to scan that. You sign up. It's free, and you'll get daily betting picks to your inbox. Rodney's I saw your record a few days ago. I just looked. You were cleaning up this month.
This month's been really good. Yeah, been really good. I went undefeated the other day. I spent a couple days off with the no power and things like that. But June has been really good, which has really bumped the 2026 record up. So don't follow my picks on this show. Go to the Substack up there in that corner instead. Don't follow that one. I think it's because it's every day. I can get more choices. This is only like Fridays. That's why I get football. I'm waiting for football. That way I can get weekend games. Get back in the groove.
When you're doing baseball and like WNBA, it's tough. And now we got like World Cup in there. Like, what are we doing?
Not great.
All right, let's get out of here. Assuming there's no power outages or gymnastics tournaments, we'll be doing the show Tuesday night, 9 p.m. To recap a busy weekend, lots of World Cup games, lots of baseball, and other sports stories I'm sure we'll get to. We'll talk about the U.S. Open champion because there will be one in a few days. Is Sunday Father's Day?
It is.
It is. So yes, have an excellent Father's Day. Do you have initial plans for Father's Day?
I don't have any idea what Sunday will bring. That's too far away, bro. That's too far away.
Well, but like you don't plan Father's Day, right? Is it get planned for you?
No, I think Jonah has a tournament, so we'll have baseball. I think it's just down the road at East Side, so it'll be around. But I have no idea. Well, whatever happens will happen. Whatever.
All right. Well, we'll hear all about it on Tuesday. But everyone have a great weekend. Have a great Father's Day. We'll talk to you Tuesday night for another edition of the Stupidest Sports Show on Earth. See you guys.
See ya.
Step right up, dummies, and listen to the Stupidest Sports Show on Earth with Rodney Newpol and Tim Van Stratton. Yeah.